We now move back stateside to talk about hunger in America and about how the partial government shutdown is having a disproportionate impact upon those who can least afford it, the less fortunate among us. To do so, I'm pleased to be joined by a former colleague at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the CEO of Hunger Free America, Joel Berg. Joel, I can't tell you how great it is to be with you and have you with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Bart.
So first off, set the stage for us with regard to hunger in the United States. Where are we, and are we making any progress?
Before the government shutdown, there were 40 million Americans. That's about equal to the combined population of Texas and West Virginia that lived in homes that couldn't afford enough food. We're still double digits percentage-wise higher in U.S. hunger than they were in the late 1990s in the height of the Clinton era economic boom. So even though the stock market has been rising over the last few years, it's settled down recently, even though billionaire wealth has soared in America, we still have 40 million Americans who don't always know where their next meal's coming from. That doesn't mean they're starving like they would be in North Korea or Somalia, but it does mean they're choosing between food and rent. So there's no better example of boom versus bust than the incredible rates of hunger and malnutrition in America while we have so much billionaire wealth.
Well, I guess, Joel, it proves that a rising tide does not lift all boats or people. Let's talk about this government shutdown a little bit and how that's impacting people. It's the longest government shutdown in history in the U.S. What's the latest with regard to specific programs, in particular SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is really the heavyweight of all nutrition programs? How is that doing, and what are the problems associated with the shutdown, Joel?
Through some accounting sleight of hands, the Trump administration was able to find money to keep the SNAP program going, what's the actual name for the old food stamp program, going through February. And don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. If the program shuts down entirely, as it could in March, if this impasse isn't ended, then 38 million Americans could lose $4.7 billion worth of food. So that's continuing. However, the old USDA employees are old colleagues, or not so old colleagues, whose job it is to certify stores to be able to participate in the SNAP program. They're not on the job by and large. So far, more than 2,000 private sector retail stores in America have actually lost certification to receive SNAP benefits. That's not a crisis level yet because there are 260,000 stores in the program, but if this continues, it will be. And just today out of North Carolina, there was a report that a school district in North Carolina is actually serving less food in the school lunch program. Less food in the school lunch program, for goodness sakes, because of the government shutdown. This is so wrong and so pointless.
Absolutely. We did a program last week, Joel, and we talked about the APHIS inspectors and the packers and stockyards and the TSA folks who weren't getting paid. Some of those actually have been ordered back by the president, although they're not being paid yet, of course. But maybe the administration will look to find out that, this really could impact people, their lives, if they're hungry, and put some of these folks back, at least to approve some of these applications. Let me ask you, Joel, how are businesses involved with hunger, and are they stepping up to meet this, or what is going to be an increased need?
Some businesses are definitely helpful, and my organization, Hunger Free America's largest private donor is the Walmart Foundation, associated with the Walmart Company. And they've been very generous to our organization, giving us millions of dollars over the past few years. Other companies are trying to help as well, but make no mistake about it. The magnitude of the federal safety net is such that if these programs shut down, all the private charity on the planet isn't going to help avoid massive hunger on a scale we haven't seen since the Great Depression. All the business-backed charity in America now equals about 1/15th of the federal nutrition assistance safety net. And so we appreciate business support. We certainly work with the private sector, and we think the most important thing is for them to do is to create jobs that pay a living wage and then give to charities. But I hope people don't get the false impression that somehow magically, like a Frank Capra American Happy ending movie, that if the federal safety net goes away, that our friends in business will be able to save this problem. And many of them difficulty. If the programs really go away, they will have to probably engage in massive layoffs.
It's a sobering, sombering story. We want to keep telling it, Joel, because it is so important to people. It's important to our country. We hope you'll join us again. Joel Berg, how great to see you, the CEO of Hunger Free America. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.